What's up, Block fam? Here in the park, and not quite a bike reveal. Thought about bike reveal, anticipation, blah blah blah, build up, cinematic shots. But I've done that so many times, so it's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna title the video that I got an Indian Chief. I got an Indian Chief on loan from Indian Motorcycles. So it's a 2022 Indian Chief Bobber Dark Horse. If you guys don't know, Indian Motorcycle invited me out to Arizona to test ride this bike, and we did about 300 to 400 miles on it. The riding out there in Arizona was just incredible. Absolutely beautiful out there. Started out in Sedona, that's where we stayed, and then we rode through Prescott and Jerome, and then went camping, and then rode back the following day. So I got experience with a couple of different Chief models. So if you guys are looking for those like more in-depth reviews, I made a bunch of videos on those. You guys can check those out. I'll be sure to link down in the description below to a playlist. Indian has basically loaned me this bike for a month because I'm kind of curious as to how it would handle and, you know, how it would fit in. Whenever you go test ride a bike, it kind of gives you an idea what the bike is like. When you actually have the bike and it's like in your garage and you're using it for your daily everyday stuff, it's a totally different experience. I basically have this bike for a month, gonna see how it does in, you know, city traffic and stop and go and all that stuff, which I didn't really get a lot of that experience whenever I was riding it in Arizona. Really nice open roads out there, which is cool. What I want you guys to do, since we do have this extended loaner, I want you guys to let me know what you want to know about this motorcycle. Is this a motorcycle that you've considered? Is it something that you would possibly buy? What do you want to see it compared to? I know a lot of people want to see this bike compared to like a Dyna or Harley-Davidson Softail. I do plan on throwing this thing on a dyno just to get the power numbers. That's more the purpose of this stuff, is to let you guys know that we have the bike for an extended period of time and to answer whatever questions you might have on it, because I know these things are kind of hard to come by right now. Whenever I posted it up on Instagram, I even had a couple manufacturers hit me up asking if I could bring it by so they could do some test fitting for parts and stuff on it. Let's just go ahead, throw a leg over it. I'll get to talking about it a little bit. A couple things I remember. It's been a long time since I've ridden one. One thing I can say, I remember I liked this bike a lot because of the higher bars and the forwards. I did have to remind myself on the controls though. I was like kind of trying to figure out, I was looking for cruise control over on this side, but it's over here. And then the startup process. So you gotta turn it on. So on button, it turns on, it's got the whole boot up process. And then you start it, press and let go. Almost didn't think it was gonna start. This gauge, so beautiful. Touchscreen, oh, that's cool. It's darker because we're not like in direct light or anything. I don't think I've seen that like that before. We didn't really ride it at night, so it's interesting to see that. Once we get in the day, I think it'll invert. The fact that this thing has GPS built into it is freaking amazing. So one of the things about Indians that I had to remind myself about, there's like such a large take up in throttle response. I've got it in touring right now. On the way to the park here, there was one of the things that I was going to comment about is like, I wish there was like a mode button like right here, so you could just quickly change the mode. Doot doot doot, baby shark. In order to change the rider mode, you basically got the trigger switches right here, right? So there and there. And whenever you press it once, it just changes over to the next like screen. In order to get to the settings screen, which is this one here, so like if you're riding and you don't want to take your hands off and do all this stuff, you can press and hold on this trigger and it'll take you there. But then to switch between all these, like you can't just pull, you have to use this button now, and you go like so, up, whatever's highlighted, and then you press in to change. So down, in, up, in. To go back, pull the trigger again. That just seems a little unintuitive to me. It took me a little bit to figure that out. So like, I think you could cut out all that by just having like a mode button, which would be super cool. If one exists and I'm just not seeing it, or if there's a way to quickly change your modes at the press of a button, you guys let me know. But I'm not seeing it. That would make this user experience so much better. You know, boop, change the mode, switch, click of a button. So we do have it in tour mode now. We're just gonna kind of start out easy. I need to get moving because this is not a liquid cooled engine from Indian. This is an air cooled engine. Oh, what's that? What's that? That looks like a Harley. Yep. All right. Iron, tank lift, solo seat, chopped fender. Ah, the gauge changed back over. I liked it with a black background. It looked cool. So yeah, once again, I went over like all this stuff in those previous videos where we, you know, went over the specs of the bike and all that stuff. So if you guys are really looking to get a deep dive into it, like I said, check those out. But if this is your first Indian Chief video that you're coming across, I guess just to kind of lightly give some specs about the bike. This is the Indian Chief Bobber Dark Horse. So you've got your regular Indian Chief Bobber, which is going to have a couple of things stripped back. It doesn't have the fully integrated digital gauge. It's going to be like a cheaper option. And then you've got like your just regular not bobber, which is going to have like a different bar and foot control setup, different paint levels, all that stuff. If you guys are interested in checking any of that out on Indian's website, I'll be sure to drop a link to all of it down in the description below. Well, let me just start out by saying, before we get too far into it, you know, big thanks to Indian Motorcycle for lending me this bike, you know, for an extended period of time. I really greatly appreciate it. It's incredibly valuable to be able to get the experience over an extended period of time, especially for being able to kind of report back to you guys that are potentially interested in this motorcycle. My thoughts on this bike whenever we were in Sedona, surrounding areas, absolutely loved it. I do remember one of my bigger criticisms was the lean angle, which I can kind of feel going into some of the turns back there, just the sweepers. But overall, I remember really loving the bike. It gave me a lot of confidence, and I talked with a couple of the other people that were riding it. They said the same thing, especially in the canyons. Incredibly quick, lots of power, which we'll throw it on the dyno and we'll see what we're getting like horsepower and torque-wise at the wheel. The manufacturer usually gives you the specification at the crank, but then you do have drivetrain loss, so we're gonna see what we're actually putting down at the wheel instead of at the crank. That gray, like this, like that right there, I absolutely love that gray on this bike. Now, we're not going to have riding like we did, obviously, the canyons around Sedona here in Florida. This is pretty much as twisty as we get right here, unfortunately. One of the downsides to Florida, but we do have beaches. Our beaches are nice. With Indian Motorcycle, I know their goals in building this thing, you know, they went back and forth for a while in terms of research and development, but they wanted something, you know, a little bit more classically styled. They wanted something for that middleweight market, because they have the Scout, which I guess they consider like more of their entry level. It's a good bike, you know, for riders that are looking to get into the brand, just because center of gravity on it, handling, seat height, all that stuff. Seat height is crazy low on those things. Seat height is pretty low on this thing too. They were basically saying they needed something in between the Scout and their touring stuff. Oh man, speaking of touring, I'm in touring mode right now, and it takes so much throttle to get going. That's one of the things I do know about any Indian that I've ever ridden, is the throttle is just so much different than most other bikes. There's kind of a lot of take up, which you can change the responsiveness to that by changing the mode. So we'll go ahead and try to do the mode hands-free, throw it over into standard. There's a spot, like, I don't know, it's like right there where it's just kind of on off. So it does take a little bit of getting used to the throttle, but once you're in it, I mean, it's plenty responsive, obviously. Somebody was asking me to do a comparison of this bike to my Softail Lowrider S in terms of long distance. And I was thinking, like, you know what'd be cool? Let's go to like Georgia, visit John Maxwell or something, and that would definitely get me over 1,000 miles on this thing. But they do make a windscreen for it, and I would not want to ride this bike all the way to John Maxwell's with no windscreen. It would just be, you'd be getting beat up by the wind the entire time. I'll get up to like highway speeds going on this road here. With no windshield there, you're definitely gonna get beat up a little bit. They do make one for it though, so if you want one, it does exist if you're looking to do some distance. They also make a couple different attachments and stuff for the back, so if you want to do bags and all that stuffs, go ahead and top off gas. Finding neutral, very easy. Off. See, now when you turn it off, you gotta switch it off there, and then you have to actually press off. But it has a fob, so I feel like, I don't know, like this is kind of like an unnecessary step. You could basically like turn it on and then hit starter, and so like when you turn it on here, it should just turn on here instead of having to hit on. So I feel like there's a redundancy there, I guess. All right, 93 dead dinosaurs time. How much you costing me, 93 dead dinos? $357. All right. Diesel E85. Unleaded premium unleaded? Okay. That's confusing. What the hell? Wow, that's as far as it goes into the tank? Okay. There's a guy down there yelling at his dog to move over. It's like probably in his seat. Damn, that's cool. Oh, I see there's a little bar in there that doesn't let you basically touch the bottom of the tank. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's kind of cool. But it lets the gas flow, so it doesn't basically cause it to automatically stop. And then when it gets to the top, it shuts off. Now that is freaking cool. More manufacturers should definitely do that. I wasn't even watching it. I was just holding it, filling it up. Auto stopped, and it's perfectly at the top. Good job, Indian. Like, I'm even gonna look at that again. That's freaking genius. Look at that. That's such a good idea. Dear other motorcycle manufacturers, do that. On behalf of motorcycle riders everywhere, we would greatly appreciate it. Oh, Supra. Yup, plenty easy to merge. That's in standard mode. Let's go ahead and swap it into sport. I guess once you've got that process down, it's not so bad. Basically, the 3 modes. In touring, you've got to pull back the throttle 100% to get 100%. In standard, I think they said it's like 50% or something like that, like 50 to 75 to get 100% power. And then in sport, you only have to pull back like 35% to get 100% power. So it's like much less of a throttle pull, which is definitely a huge perk of throttle by wire instead of throttle by cable. Throttle by cable, you actually have to change out like the throttle tube in order to get like that different responsiveness. Sorry. Yo, he threw up his right hand. What the hell? That's not common. Normally when you do a biker wave, you don't throw up right hand because you're letting off throttle. Normally you like keep on throttle and you go 2 down to the ground. Saw, dude. 2 wheels down. That's what I've been told that it means. So yeah, I'm basically going to do a loop that I normally do whenever I first get a bike, just to kind of get acclimated to it, you know. It's like that that bonding time between man and machine, which sounds weird, but if you guys ride motorcycles, you totally know what I'm talking about. You get to basically figure out all the little quirks and the usability and all that stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much what today's ride is about. Letting you guys know first and foremost that, you know, I've got Indian Chief, and for you guys to let me know what you want to know about this, and then whenever we are towards the end of the loan period, I'll make another video and it'll go over more focus of what you guys are wanting to know about the bike. All right, so we've got it in sport mode now. You guys see the whole like RPM thing lit up red, like letting me know, shift. Cruise control is on, set. That took a little bit of getting used to last time around, cruise control being on the right side. I don't think I've ever ridden a motorcycle besides the Chief where cruise control is on the right. Usually it's on the left for every other motorcycle I've ever ridden. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but it kind of makes sense. You know, you're holding back on throttle. Your speed does change a little bit whenever you pull your thumb off, press in and then change it. You got pressed left to set. I feel like there's a couple like usability things that, you know, take a little bit of getting used to, but once you've got it, great bike. So even though I do have a front fender, it's kicking up a little dirt. Boy, this is back in here. I don't know where. Oh my god, this is awesome. I can hear the sand hitting the back of my helmet too. Yeah, I was gonna stop and take a picture in there, but doesn't really look like the type of place that you stop to take a picture, because you might be approached with a 12 gauge, which I can totally respect. All right, there you go, boys and girls. Sugarloaf Mountain. It's such a joke that we call this mountain. Going down that dirt road, see this sand and dirt was flinging up. That's so weird. Despite, you know, a decent fender on it, it's still enough to like fling up. And then with my visor up, I was getting like dirt in my eyes and stuff. So some flinging up from the front tire as well, despite, you know, it having fenders on it. Whoever these people are that are building this house, they're gonna be pissed. Motorcyclists all the time come park right here, take a picture. So they're always gonna have bikers in their front yard. All right, guys, let's get out of here. It's freaking hot. Shout out to Flipna. Hopefully you guys can see that. Wearing that Flipna shirt. Gonna neutral race it, but don't have anybody to race. It's just me today. It's a downside to your schedule not matching up with your friends. Coffee shop of horrors. Deviously delicious. Coffee time. That was a nice little stop. Got some iced coffee and a croissant. I will say it was a nice little pit stop for my butt also, because this seat, bobber seat, it holds you in surprisingly well for being a solo seat, but it does kind of cause some pressure point on the tailbone. I feel like I would have to scoot up to kind of get away from it. But then when I scoot up, I feel, I don't know, a little bit more cramped. Anyways, I just scooted up, so we'll see how it goes. This is really cool. Logs your route, logs your ride. Best thing about these new models, this freaking gauge, no bigger than the size of your hand, and so much technology baked into that thing. Alright guys, so by the time I'm done with this trip, I've pretty much put about 50 miles on the bike. I'll probably be right about 60. Go ahead and wrap it up here. Just initial thoughts. I mean, I wouldn't even say it's initial thoughts since I've already put hundreds of miles on, you know, a couple different Indian Chief models, like I said in those original videos. Once again, playlist linked down in the description below. I will say, one of the things that I'm reminded of about this motorcycle whenever getting back on it after, you know, having not ridden it for months, is I'm just always surprised. I remember I was initially surprised, but I'm definitely, what the hell? This Halloween's coming up. The thing that surprises me about this bike is the amount of responsiveness and like power that it has. Decent displacement size engine, good amount of torque, good amount of power. It gets up to speed like no problem. I'm really interested to see what the horsepower and torque numbers are at the wheel whenever we get it on the dyno. But like I said, that's future episodes. So if you guys want to be updated whenever we make that episode, be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon also, so it sends you a notification of whenever we create and upload that one. Very smooth bike. Love that it has the rider modes. Like I said, one of the big things about me having this as a loaner right now is to basically gather as much information as I can to answer y'all's questions. So it would be incredibly helpful if you guys are able to post up down in the comments below what you want to know about this motorcycle, the Indian Chief in general. If you guys want to know more about the tech specs and all that, like I said, I'll be sure to drop the link down in the description below to Indian's website. Once again, big thanks to Indian Motorcycle for the loaner, for the opportunity. Really appreciate it. It's kind of crazy how good it sounds stock even. Would be nice to hear it with a set of proper pipes on it though. Sorry. This thing sounds good. Like I said, post up down in the comments below. Let me know what you guys want to know about this motorcycle. We'll make a good amount more videos talking about it. There you go. The Indian Chief Bobber Dark Horse. It's a good looking bike, man. Very classically styled. I think there's a lot of potential in this thing. Really interested to see where the aftermarket goes. That's I say that a lot because, you know, I'm interested in building them out, making them look a little different. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys want to know about this thing. If you guys did enjoy the video, do me a favor, hit that like button. Lets YouTube know that we're doing a good job here on the Blockhead channel. If y'all aren't subscribed already, you want to continue to see content on this bike as well as others, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell icon also so it sends you notifications of future uploads and activity. Till next time, you guys ride safe out there. Stay vigilant. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.